All right, guys. Happy Monday. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, we ready?
Yes, we are ready.
All right, everybody. Welcome to our Monday trading Zoom. So today we're going to talk about kind of energy, fatigue, something we all know too often. Like it's an imbalance, right? You might be saying all the time, why am I so tired? You hear people saying all the time, gosh, I'm so tired. And then we just kind of brush it off. Like this is like a normal part of the process. This is a normal part of aging, right? As we age, we start to lose energy. We feel tired. We need to take naps. We need to have more caffeinated beverages, something to keep us going. But really the signs of feeling tired all the time are a much bigger thing, right? Much more of like biological dysfunction, like something else is going on that we need to address. So we talk a lot about, or, I mentioned a lot about root causes of things. Like you don't just want to band-aid a symptom of feeling. We want to figure out why. Why are we so tired all the time? It's a major question. So we're going to do a deep dive into that. And we have a lot of supplements up here that we're going to tie into it because it really is not about just giving that energy supplement, taking that energy supplement. It's about finding that balance. And again, the root cause of why we're so tired. And to start off, I think we'll talk about one of the main reasons why we're so tired stems back to our mitochondria.
Yep.
And you'll hear us talk about that often. Ryan always says, it's the powerhouse of our cells. And why does this happen? And that's where we're going to go. Why, Ryan?
Yeah, metabolic dysfunction for sure.
Why does it happen?
Why?
Yeah. What are we
There's a
doing?
whole lot of reasons why. Most are within our control. Some are actually not, right? We're an industrialized nation for sure. And there's a lot of environmental exposures that we are put to test every day. For instance, you know how when you look around and you see somebody or you know that person that says, oh, these like the Energizer Bunny, he's 72 years old, young, and he just always moving, and you're like, man, I wish I could be like that. How do you act that way?
We
right?
were just with one of those this weekend.
Yeah.
Our friend's father is 75 years old. I cannot believe how much energy, drive, motivation this man has. It's very cool. But
so I want to give you an example of a firsthand account of how somebody turned it around big time. It's just like it's never too late to start saving money. It's never too late to start investing in your health and improving. What I think everybody's looking for is more energy. I think the fountain of youth concept is about energy. And so my mom, for an example, I don't know, 4 years ago, Lisa, maybe, she was really she was on a walker. She was actually on a walker, had to go up, bring her down, stayed with us for a little bit.
She's 72 years old.
72
So
years
this
of age.
was 68 years old.
And leading right up to my dad when he died from a heart attack or cardiac stroke. She had no choice. We moved her down with us, and now this woman is the Energizer Bunny, and it's quite amazing. She had incontinence, super like she had very, very severe osteoporosis, alcoholism was at play, sedentary lifestyle, really poor nutrition. And it's like, it was almost like, how could this be? At that time she was like 68, late 60s. And then the reversal is just astonishing. It's like nothing I could have ever imagined. I literally tell people it's like a spring chicken was just born, and she's 72 years old, learning pickleball.
She's going to the
gym every single day. She's out walking. She's totally independent. And we thought, no, we were actually looking for assisted living, even though we don't love that concept for society either. It's just challenging on all kinds of fronts. But yeah, all right. So I think the point of that story is that I've seen a firsthand account of what you can do with improving your nutrition, your outlook on life, but the pillars of health we always talk about. So you're managing multiple parts of your life. You're managing your nutrition, so food, which we'll talk about today because that's what food is for. Food is energy. We're going to talk about exercise, of course. We're going to talk about your stress management. We're going to talk about your socialization, getting out and about like my mom does all the time. It's crazy. And of course, we'll talk about sleep, and supplements. That's the last one, but probably the first on our list. But yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, basically, like if our mitochondria are functioning optimally, our bodies are functioning optimally. So going back to the example of, my mother-in-law, her mitochondria were not functioning at all. And that's when health declines. That's when energy declines. That's when everything starts to go downhill. So we need to, all in all, doing these pillars of health that Ryan just mentioned really are supporting our mitochondria. So again, when they're functioning their best, so are we.
Yeah, absolutely. So mitochondrial dysfunction is the cornerstone of aging for the most part, right? Because that's the energy that your body needs to carry out everyday functions, to exercise, to process thoughts, to do virtually everything, right? And so there's a lot of different ways to look at energy. And funny, going into this, we chose this topic yesterday. And so we've been spending time independently of just kind of researching and prepping our thoughts for this. I went down this really deep rabbit hole on energy in, energy out, whether or not a calorie is this, if 1 calorie is the same as the next calorie, the importance of food and nutrition. I was looking at the storage of like fat tissue because that's how we store our energy. I was looking at glycogen. So we decided that's probably not the best route to go for the conversation.
We would be talking for hours.
We can talk for hours. It gets lost on the point of the conversation is to identify, how do we get back our youth? How do we get back our energy? How do we stop this fatigue from just overwhelming us, and us then normalizing it and saying, oh, well, this is just the fact of aging. And there are components to that. But when she talks about mitochondria, you're talking about on a cellular level, it's metabolic health. And when we're talking about metabolic health, we have to address body composition. We just have to address it. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, is that the more excess body fat that we have, the less metabolically active our body is. So what does that mean? The more body fat we have, the less efficient that our cells are, right, on a cellular level. And when we use food and how we store fat, that when we don't have the proper lean muscle mass, that's the highest metabolically active tissue. So when we have more lean muscle mass, we know that we have to feed it more, in a sense, right? We have to nourish it. Like, there's a lot more nourishment that takes place, and you have to work hard on this tissue. But when you look at your brain and you look at your heart, your high energy demand centers, the quality of the food and the things we're putting in our body matter. And the same goes for dietary supplements. Remember, like Lisa will always tell you, the supplement is a supplement to a healthy diet. These are food-based ingredients. And so I will be blue to the face when I talk about nutrition, but then exercise, of course, is going to be a huge part for mitochondrial health.
Right. But when he's talking about nutrition, let's just, circle with that, stay with that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, say a 400 calorie, really hefty duty, nutritional shake, right? You have a couple scoops of protein powder, you have your super greens, your super reds, your collagen, get some fruit, some avocado, everything in there. You can make that a nice, hefty, so nutritionally balanced protein shake. And then you have maybe 400 calories of a McDonald's French fry, right? So it's still the same calories, right? If we're so concerned about what calories, but what that shake is going to do for our bodies, for our energy, for our brains is, I mean, crucial compared to what the French fries are going to do, right? With those French fries, your energy is just going to plummet. You're not doing anything for your body.
Well, so the calorie in that example, so the calorie is a unit of measure. It's a unit of measure of energy, of the energy density of the food. That's where a calorie is equal, just in a unit of measure. But the source of the calorie is where things start to unravel. And that's where they're not equal. So that example is kind of perfect for that. The source of the calorie for what it can do for your metabolic health and how your body utilizes those nutrients is vastly different. And that's the importance that we want to drive home.
Right, 100%. Sure. So food matters.
Yeah.
With that, I'm just going to tie into nutritional deficiencies before we jump into exercise, because we know that's a huge component. But also, with food, you hear me talk all the time about nutritional deficiencies, right? We need to eliminate those. We need to prevent those because we're not getting what we used to from our food. So, but when we have these nutritional deficiencies, again, our body is not working its best for us. That can easily, with proper diet and also the supplementation of our daily essentials pack, right? The men's and women's multivitamin, the magnesium, and the D3. That way we work together right there, check that off the list. We're eating healthy. We're taking our daily, what did I call it? Daily essentials pack, yeah. And right there, we're balancing that part, right? You have to take care of each part. Okay, so then a little bit to go with that, I just want to tie into factor 4 just because it's right here.
Sure.
But factor 4 because of the inflammation. When we are chronically inflamed, guys, we are not going to have energy. We are going to feel horrible. Okay, everything is also going to hurt. So you want to think about taking your factor 4 to keep that inflammation at bay, right? Again, Ryan says a lot, excuse me, Ryan says a lot about a little bit of inflammation is a good thing, right? It's a healthy thing. A lot is a bad thing. So we need to keep that that chronic inflammation at bay. So that takes care of right there. And then again, movement, daily movement. You might be in this vicious cycle of I'm so tired, I can't exercise, but exercise is supposed to help me feel less tired. You got to break out of that. How do you start doing that? If you're not moving at all, guys, start with a 10-minute walk. Increase that the next day to 12 minutes. keep going up. It doesn't have to be some crazy high intensity workout, but you have got to move your body every single day. It is the biggest factor in being able to restore our mitochondria. Really, really, really important to get that body moving.
Yeah, and again, going back to the body composition piece. So if you are exercising, you are improving your insulin sensitivity. And when we're looking at 50% in the United States anyway, 50% of people have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. You're talking about a lot of people that have an insulin resistance or dysregulation. So exercise is a huge part of that. And I like that Lisa said, keep it simple. If you're sedentary now, if you just don't do anything, I would set a goal for walking 100 minutes a week. Or if you're ready to take it up a notch, you can do some resistance training 3 days a week for 30 minutes each day. It's just 90 minutes. I would do 2 of those days on lower body because as we age, muscle loss, of course, is a big thing, but the mobility. So the legs, the glutes, they're really important for maintaining mobility because fall risk is a big concern for us as folks age. So yeah, I think exercise drives home the message. I mean, it's equally balanced with nutrition and the conversation around energy, restoration, right? And making sure that we're feeling our best is ultimately what we're
100%.
going for. So they want to go into supplements. I know.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say
there's
also supplements that can help us with that give that energy boost. Now caffeinated beverages should not be something that we rely on, something that we like, oh my gosh, I need my 12 o'clock cup of coffee, and then now it's 2 o'clock and I'm starting to crash. I need another cup of coffee. Yep. Use them for that little boost that you need when you need it. And typically it's first thing in the morning, right? Get you going. I love my E3, love it. First thing in the morning before my workout. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the extra push and drive that it gives me in my workout. So that's when you want to utilize it. But I'm not looking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh boy, I'm going downhill. I need my E3. Those are signs that something's not working properly in our bodies, right? Same thing with coffee. I mean, coffee, I was just talking to Ryan about it this morning, like centuries ago, people weren't using coffee to just get that caffeine kick to keep us driving so we can not face plant falling asleep. It was like a ceremonial thing, right? It was something that was like celebrated. So I look forward to, especially I do this on the weekends, sitting down and enjoying my cup of coffee, embracing it, tasting all the flavors, not just trying to like get a cup of coffee in because we're, typically how everything goes is we'll rush, here, chugging a cup of coffee. So use them as that nice little energy boost and not the health benefits of caffeine.
Tons of health benefits, cognitive benefits. Now there's a study that shows the longer the caffeine content in the blood level, the serum level, the better it is for osteoporosis, the better it is for weight management. I mean, there's a lot of benefit of caffeine for sure as a psychotropic or like a psychoactive substance.
Right. So in our products, we have the E3, which is caffeinated,
right?
The coffee, as well as our energy and focus patches, right? So kind of find which one you love best. I mean, with the energy and focus patches, you put the patch on for 8 hours and you kind of have that steady stream. It feels good. It is nice. But again, you don't want to necessarily need it and be reliant on it for your daily functions. We also have, before we go into our wonderful methylene blue, as we're tying in mitochondrial dysfunction, we also have our super reds.
Dietary nitrates.
Yeah, not caffeinated, but what it does to your body will help increase your energy.
It does, yeah, through the dietary nitrate pathway, for sure. And there's a lot of benefit in all of those. So the caffeine, of course, we wouldn't like you to stop that by 11 a.m., but the benefits of coffee are profound. You need to be focused on clean coffee, organic coffee. That is exactly what the Live Good coffee is, added with 6 adaptogenic mushrooms and some maca and some matcha green tea. And like she said on the E3, but it's a mind muscle. There are a lot of mind muscle ingredients in here, which means that there's a lot of things good for the brain that help the physical performance as well. So don't just limit this to a pre-workout would be my suggestion.
Right.
You can try it, and you can even alternate, maybe a coffee on one day, E3 the next. I've been experimenting with that a little bit as well. So yeah, awesome. Did you want to methylene blue, guys? If you haven't already, maybe you're not sure, watch our prior Zoom on methylene blue. Maybe even just take a minute and Google benefits of methylene blue, because you will see that there's a lot of rather profound kind of effects of this ingredient. So take a look at it. It has a lot of benefit, but when it comes to mitochondrial restoration, this is super powerful. It's actually one of the reasons why we alternate every other day. That's how we suggest it, or you could go 15 days on, 15 days off, because similar to some other things, you want to give the chance for the mitochondria to restore and go back, resume normal, healthy function, because the way that methylene blue is, it's considered like a redox agent. It really gives the mitochondria everything they need in virtually every phase of energy production. So
right, and everything that we've been talking about, these are a lot of things that we can control, right? But Ryan mentioned at the beginning, there are things that we cannot control that completely ruin our mitochondria. That's environmental toxins, heavy metal exposure, the pesticides, herbicides. I mean, this stuff wreaks havoc on our system, which even if you're doing everything really well, nutritionally, what you're putting in your body and all that, there's stuff that we can't avoid. I mean, we can't prevent, unfortunately. And that's also where the methylene blue really can help into the play, because it gives that mitochondria that extra restorational boost that it needs. So we talked about, a lot of it comes with pillars of health. Okay,
yes.
So we've gone through diet, nutrition, we've gone through movement, exercise. We haven't touched on hydration, which is just key. You've got to make sure you're hydrating, you're getting enough fluids. Sleep. Sleep can sleep. We don't get enough of it. We don't get enough quality sleep, put it that way. Even if some people are sleeping 10 hours and you still wake up feeling tired, you're not getting quality sleep. And a lot of things that we're doing in our daily life are preventing us from getting that quality sleep, whether it's poor nutrition, whether it's lack of movement, high stress. There's so many of these factors prevent us from sleeping. Leaning towards that caffeinated beverage from at 2 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, just to be able to have a few more hours of the day. You might be able to fall asleep, guys, at 10 o'clock at night, great, but you're not getting quality sleep if that caffeine is still running in your system. So sleep has to be focused. What else? Kind of tied in the stress there.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're obsessing over things like stress, you're burning a lot of energy. So I think a lot of it is being aware of how you're spending your time, what you're burning your energy on.
Right.
Like if you're obsessing over like something like, is your daughter gonna make the volleyball team? You're putting too much time and effort into like one area that is probably better served somewhere else, right? So
right. I mean, a little example about that, just you happen to bring a volleyball. Our girls had a volleyball tournament this weekend. And it's high stress. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And one of the moms looked at me, she's like, I don't think I can take any more hours of this. I am exhausted. Like this intensity, the stress it was killing her. She was wiped out. So that's just a little fun example of it. But think about if that's happening in your daily life, you're chronically stressed like that. You are going to come home every day from work wiped out, exhausted, maybe not being able to make yourself that healthy meal, maybe not even being able to get your routine going so you get to bed on time. I mean, there's so many things that spiral. So when we talk about, health, it really is it's a functional medicine approach, right? It is encompassing everything. It's not just a Band-Aid approach. We got to figure out why we're chronically tired, why we feel fatigued, why we're low in energy, why can we not get ourselves to work out every day because we're so tired. You have to figure out why. And it really starts with, let's start taking care of the basics.
For sure.
Eliminate nutritional deficiencies, decrease the inflammation. I mean, you even tie into our like super reds and super greens and the coffee, load that body with antioxidants. I mean, so much about taking care of your body will therefore take care of your mitochondria, restore your mitochondria, and then you'll feel good. And you'll have the energy to do everything. And you will feel light years younger, guys.
For sure. That's the holistic approach. And I'm glad you're saying that. That's awesome. Yeah. So don't forget too, there's a B complex in the multivitamin. You didn't mention that on the men's and the women's.
Right.
So you have all of the B vitamins. You have the methylated form of B12. There is a question here about B12. Yes, B12 is included. So that's one of the reasons why we say supplement earlier in the day with food. The vitamin D3 with K2 also now has been shown has a hormonal effect, but can really be involved in the energy cycle as well. But for sure, magnesium can. Absolutely. It's part of 300 chemical reactions in the body, but really there's a definite correlation between low magnesium and fatigue. So make sure that you're supplementing with your magnesium. That's incredibly important, like you said, on factor 4. And then the last thing I would say is like, how can you use all of these in one day? You can. You could go with a patch. You could do the patch early in the morning, right? Let it go. You can do a methylene blue every other day. You can start your day with the coffee or the E3. If you were to do both, that's okay. I mean, you're only talking about 125 in each, or 100.
I mean, I do both because I take my E3 at 4:30 in the morning, and then I have my coffee.
I meant coffee and E3.
That's what I said, right?
Oh, you said methylene blue.
I did? I don't know, guys, did I?
I'm gonna go back and check.
I take my E3 at like 4:30 in the morning before my workout. And then at about 10 o'clock when I have a smoothie, I put a scoop of the coffee in because I love the combination. So it's well spaced out, and then that's it for my caffeine intake. I'm done for the day. So there is a way to get both in the earlier part of the day if you so desire.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, look, as long as, as far as caffeine upper limits go, I mean, there's some research out there, but I would say up no more than 400 milligrams a day. It's probably a good thing. I would suggest staying under 200. Your body does build dependence and tolerance to it, so obviously that's an issue. But the super red, super greens, of course, any of the other supplements, collagen, protein, because protein is a huge part of it. Really important stuff for energy and combating fatigue.
Yes.
So I think at the end of the day, it really does mean being aware of it, working on improving your body composition, and how do you do that? Everything kind of we just talked about. So
yep. Yeah, awesome. Just want to mention too, guys, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel if you don't already. I know we have repeat listeners here every week. So make sure if you have not done that, that you go ahead and do that. That really helps us out. And I guess just the bottom line is like fatigue doesn't have to be an inevitable part of aging, right? It doesn't have to be normal. We don't have to just think as we get older, we're going to have less energy. Does not have to be that way. We just need to work on our declining mitochondria, and we need to support our bodies, right?
I agree.
All right. Any questions?
Nope, I think that's good.
Okay.
All right, we'll wrap it up, guys.
Awesome. Any questions that you may have, I'm always available via email, lisa@livegood.com.